what I've seen is I've seen hundreds, if not thousands of clients come into an attorney's office with all levels of stress, trauma, and exposure to pain, not knowing what they're going to do moving forward, and not being able to move forward because they don't have the power to do it. I can think of one client that we had in common who was just despondent about what you had described as a destruction of the identity of self, is the way you had put that. They had committed an offense. They knew that they had committed the offense. They were in a position of where they felt completely hopeless, and they thought, all I'm going to do is pay a lawyer some huge amount of money to just plead me guilty. And so what difference does it make what I do? I don't know if this person was close to self-harm. I don't know if they were close to completely just surrendering to the court system. But what I do know is that you spoke to this client, and you, again, I can't repeat the way you said it and how you said it, but I watched her change. I saw her change. I saw her go from being, in probably about 60 minutes, a person who thought that she had no hope, to being a person who thought, I'm going to be better on the other side of this.
Yeah, it's like literally creating hopefulness. It's literally creating hopefulness through a method. So what we're talking about, I call this a neurosomatic shift. So I've got a philosophy. I'm Trauma Philosopher is my channel here. I call it integral person theory. It's a way to start putting together how do we exist as a being, and how do these processes and patterns that we use to find comfort through discomfort or comfort through uncertainty. And so when our clients are coming to us, they're in a deep state of, it's a existential crisis. It's like that identity of self. It's ego death. If we can reset the nervous system is the sympathetic and the parasympathetic. When they can't come in, they typically present like this. And it's usually it's a 1,000-yard stare. It's the 1,000-yard stare. It's repetitive questions about something that's very similar that you just answered, right? It's complete kind of lethargy, if I can say that. There's usually some anxiousness to it. It's like anxious lethargy, if there's a better, I don't know if there's a better way to put it. And so when you see these things, this is an indication that we're out of neurological regulation. And so we can get the parasympathetic nervous system turned back on. Many of these clients, I'll even talk, once I get rapport enough, it's really weird. I don't know of any other lawyer that asks questions, but I won't ask it right away. Once I get rapport, I'll start saying, you look like you look like you've been through hell. Are you sleeping all right? Oh my God, I haven't slept. It's like, this is, rest and digest is part of what the parasympathetic nervous system controls. Can I ask and that's part of all of this too, is asking permission as opposed to asking forgiveness. So asking permission about everything that might seem to be in any way violative of their kind of thought, or like an imposition, or something that would be uncomfortable for them to talk about. Very beginning, you start setting this comfort level that you're not going to probe, because they now have a bullet wound somewhere, and we're putting our fingers around, but just because we can't see it doesn't mean it's not there. And then when you put your finger in a bullet wound, then what it does, that throws them even further into neurological dysregulation, and now they're going to go to a shutdown, and now their inner eardrum is going to slacken, so they don't have to hear the human voices. So what it ends up being is recognizing when that stage happens, getting them bought in. I mean, I've even asked clients like, hey, I hate to ask this question, how have your bowel movements been? Regularity, consistency, I bet you even they're off. I'm like, oh my God, not any bowel, I haven't eaten in 3 days.
And that builds trust too, because they're thinking, this guy knows what it's like. And when you say that, when you give that metaphor of the bullet wound, the reason that always strikes me is because what we are taught in triage as attorneys, if I see a person with a bullet wound, I stick my whole big giant hand in there and yank out the bullet. That's the best thing to do. And I never care how much damage I did going in or coming out, because all I did was address the bullet.
Yep. And then we almost blame, shame, and judge the client afterwards. They just couldn't handle the process.
Right.
I did the best I could. They just weren't up for it. It's not my fault. So when I take Patrick Lencioni's 5 dysfunctions of a team, the results that they can't see that we could achieve, accountability, commitment, and then the 2 levels below that are conflict and trust. And I put neurological safety in there. So neurological safety either goes before or between or after trust, depending on the circumstance. Because if they're in a defensive posture, and I've found in the body, where in the physical body it seems that discomfort is popping up, that indicates that your neurology is potentially
And
out
what
of
you're
whack.
saying there is a physical location in the body that where this type of trauma and stress is manifested.
Right, and you can talk to the client. Once you get rapport, you can get them to tap, I call it tap in. You check that spot to see what the sensitivity is, explain to them, it's individual to the client. And then the other cool thing that is kind of like my neurosomatic shift, I used to call it cognitive emotional hypnosis, which is still kind of there, but the thing is that the neurology is off. The neurology is tied to the emotional state, and then that's tied to the thought constructs. So when you can recognize that that's there, now you know that they've got a disempowering emotional state and concerning cognitive thought prospects that are actually creating problems that aren't being like problem solutions. And they're usually going to a thought process of, I am who I think all these people think I am. All these people think I'm a felon. All these people think that I'm a murderer. All these people think that I'm a druggie. All these people think that I'm a thief, right? Who do they think they are? And why would they think that this is explainable? Why? And so it becomes this really specific thought construct that pops up when this is there. And through my observed experience, I'd say I've probably done this with 250 or 300 people, and it's the same.
All the way through.
All the way through.
Yeah, and what is interesting about the way you put that is our clients, in some instances, have done dark or bad things, and they know they have.